I'm Ellie Gabe, and I'm here to address some misconceptions surrounding food insecurity. Our project was created with the goal of educating students about the issue of food insecurity after we conducted a survey, which you've probably heard of before. Our results show that most students rated their knowledge of food insecurity as 5 out of 10. Some rated theirs slightly higher than that, but overall, plenty scored lower. Some had difficulty defining food insecurity, and others had misconceptions about what the issue looks like. And although some of these statements aren't necessarily wrong, they don't paint a full picture of this issue. After conducting research on our own, we found that households with children report higher rates of food insecurity. Additionally, children from lower socioeconomic backgrounds are less likely to consume fruits and vegetables, actually nutritious foods, than their peers from higher socioeconomic status. For comparison, 43% of our school is considered to be economically disadvantaged. Can you imagine that 43% of our students are less likely to have access to nutritious food? What this means is that it's not just food as a whole that people are deprived of, but quality foods, like fruits and vegetables. On the same topic, we may assume that people living in the same general area have the same access to food. We all live in Queens. It makes sense that we can all go to a grocery store 5 minutes away, right? But that's not the case. In fact, food deserts are extremely common in our borough. If you don't know, a food desert is an area where there's a lack of healthy food options or the nearest healthy food option is too far away. In fact, a nonprofit centered in New York City called Public Health Solutions characterized our situation as a food swamp, noting that, quote, the report also found that these neighborhoods, Corona, Jackson Heights, and Jamaica, had only one supermarket for every 5 fast food restaurants and 6 corner stores. What this means is that our access to nutritious food is not equal. Our neighborhoods aren't set up in such a way that it could be. Certain Queens residents are at a built-in disadvantage. And it's not just about our county either. Notice how the report named Jackson Heights, Corona, and Jamaica, where there's a very diverse population. That's because in 2020, Feeding America found that 7% of white non-Hispanic residents of all ages in our county faced food insecurity, while 13%, nearly double, of Black residents did. Again, think of it in terms of our school. 43% is Asian, 31% is white, and only 4% is Black. Despite that, we all go to the same school in the same general area, and the percentage of Black students is much lower, they're more likely to face food insecurity than both the aforementioned populations. So it's not that just the it's not just the area that people live in that affects their ability to gain access to food, but it's also race and socioeconomic status. Not only do people facing food insecurity have less access to nutritious food, they face health issues related to it. This relates to a key misconception that I'm sure plenty of people fall for. When I say the phrase food insecure people, what do you picture? Probably someone thin and frail, right? So it'll probably come off as a surprise that food insecurity can lead to a greater chance of obesity. In fact, the health outcomes of people in this situation are pretty grim. It's not as simple as gaining more food or more income to fix the problem. It's that for many, this is a chronic issue. According to the report, Food Insecurity, Chronic Disease, and Health Among Working Age Adults, quote, adults in households with very low food security were 15.3 percentage points more likely to have any chronic illness than adults in households with high food security. This is a 40% increase in overall prevalence. And also that, quote, the number of chronic conditions for adults in households with low food security is, on average, 18% higher than for those in high food secure households, end quote. This goes to show that the issue of food insecurity is not as cut and dry as simply providing food, and that the people facing food insecurity experience lasting effects. So I hope this video helped clear up some misconceptions about food insecurity. To recap, we found that household food insecurity is higher when the household has children, different communities have varying access to food, and that the quality of food is equally important to having food, and that there are many socioeconomic factors involved in who faces the issue of food insecurity. Food insecurity can't be solved by something as easy as just going to a grocery store.